Good morning. It is October 26th and I am at Petroglyph National Monument, which is just right beside Albuquerque. Sadly, because of the shutdown, the visitor center is closed, so I can't get my stamp, but they're letting the trails be open, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm doing the Rinconada Trail first. It's 2.2 miles, I guess. And we're gonna see some petroglyphs on this trail. And there's already lots of people, so I'm kind of sad about that. But it's a beautiful day. And there's some hot air balloons this Sunday morning. Pretty cool. Pretty sandy, pretty deserty. Well, until we get to the petroglyphs, let's do some talking. Samuel is dead, and David is still on the run from Saul, hiding in the wilderness. Now, there was a rich man whose name was Nabal. He had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. This was a festive time. He had a beautiful wife named Abigail. She was a good woman, but he was harsh and evil. Apparently, while David was hiding in the wilderness, he was helping Nabal out by protecting his sheep and shepherds. Just a lot of volcanic rock. David heard there was a sheep shearing festival going on, so he sent 10 young men to Nabal and told them to greet him with, "Peace be to you, peace be to your house and all that you have." Then they were to ask for some provisions, as they were getting hungry. Nabal pleaded ignorance, not knowing who David was, and why should he give his bread and water and meat to strangers? The sign says there's supposed to be some bird petroglyphs here, but we can't see them. Some ladies were asking me if I was from around here and if I knew where the bird petroglyphs were. I do not know. These are very elusive petroglyphs. There's supposed to be a deer up there somewhere. The young men went back to David and told him what Nabal said. David's temper got the best of him, and he told his men to gather up their swords. So 400 men went with him, and 200 stayed back to protect the supplies. Some big rocks, but I don't necessarily see any writing on them. Oh, there we go. My first petroglyph spotting. Word got back to Abigail how David had protected their sheep, and yet her husband would not give them any provisions. And now David wanted to come and fight them. She quickly took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep that were already dressed, about a bushel of grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and loaded them on the donkeys. They obviously were very well to do. Oh, some vandalism from the 1919s. Huh. They believe these markings were Spanish in origin because there's religious symbols and there's lots of shepherds in this area. But there is also native markings as well. Abigail did not tell her husband what she was up to, though. As she rode along, she met David and his men. She quickly dismantled and fell on her face before David. Despite her wealth and social status, Abigail shows great respect for David, and she is so humble because she said, "On me, my lord, on me let this iniquity be, and please hear what your maidservant has to say. Please let not my lord regard this scoundrel Nabal. He is a fool. I didn't see your young men, but please hold back the bloodshed that is coming and accept this gift I have brought you." She also recognized that the Lord was using him to fight battles and that evil was not found in him. So she knew about him and knew that he was to be king. Then David said to her, "Blessed is the Lord who sent you to meet me, and blessed is your advice, and blessed are you for keeping me from bloodshed." So David took her gifts and told her to go in peace. So archaeologists refer to these images as being made in the Rio Grande style. This style developed rather suddenly around the year AD 1300, coinciding with a dramatic increase in the local population and the construction of many Pueblo villages along the Rio Grande. Elements frequently seen in the Rio Grande style images include human figures, animals, and geometric designs. Archaeologists are still trying to determine the age of the petroglyphs. These are grazing sheep, and they know for certain that sheep is a non-native species and was brought by the Spanish settlers in the 1600s. So with this information, they can safely say that the petroglyph was made after 1600. What we cannot confirm is whether it was carved by a Puebloan or a Spaniard, as by this time both cultures were carving petroglyphs. Oh my, that looks like could be a rat. A wolf eating a rat? Interesting hairdo on that one. It's interesting, some artists have got real talent and others not so much. But that's just my observation. Oh, there looks like some Martian pigs there. Now that's either a starfish or a turtle. What's it doing in the desert? With a seashell by it. I'm purely making this up. There is no signs telling me what this is. Abigail then went to Nabal, but he had been drinking, so she waited until the morning to tell him what she had done. So in the morning, when she told him everything, the Bible says that his heart died within him and he became like a stone. In other words, they think that he had a stroke and became paralyzed. 10 days later, he was dead. David heard about his death, so he sent a messenger and proposed to Abigail to be his wife. How convenient for David, because she was intelligent, beautiful, and wealthy. She bows her face to the earth and said, "Here is your maidservant, a servant to wash the feet of the servants of my Lord." This is an expression of extreme politeness and humility, despite Abigail's social standing. She took 5 maidens and followed the messengers to David and became his wife. Then immediately it says that David took Ahinoam of Jezreel and they both became his wives. What? Nabal was a fool and now David is a fool. Plus, where did he put them when he was in hiding? Saul had given Michal his daughter, David's first wife, to another guy. But why did David take 2 more wives? Honestly. So this is my view now. The Healing Hiker gives this Rinconada trail a 2 out of 5. I thought it was going to be through a canyon. There's no canyon. At least we did find some petroglyphs after a while. Anyways, it's fine. I'm glad I went, but nothing that I would go out of the way to do again. Even great and good men have erred in following the practices of the world. The bitter result of marrying many wives was sorely felt throughout all the life of David. And I sure feel sorry for Abigail. Anyway, have you ever made mistakes you regretted?